In today's video, we're going to be talking about who will get snowfall this December. As a bonus, we're just going to be going over every single month, basically from August and September, what's already passed. We'll just briefly go over that. And then what's upcoming for the rest of the winter. So what month you're basically expect to get your first snowfall. Now let's get straight into things. And first things first, we're taking a look here at our first layer, which is your will get snow layer. Okay, so everywhere in the white layer here will get snow during the winter on average. Now that could mean that, 1 year you don't, 1 year you do, 1 year you don't, 1 year you do. So it can mean that, or a lot of these areas like, further north are going to be basically nearly guaranteed to receive snowfall. Now, as we continue on with this, we can add our second layer here, which is your will get snow before January layer. Which means that all the white remaining areas average getting snowfall after December has already come to an end. So we see that the white areas there basically will not get snowfall in December. It will be likely after that, if at all. Okay. Now these blue remaining regions will be during December or before December in these remaining light blue regions. Now, as we continue things on here, we see your will get snow before mid-December region here, which means the remaining light blue region here receives their first snowfall during late December on average. That's going to be kind of the 15th through the very end of December, right in line with that Christmas time of year for a lot of these mid-Atlantic areas around the Delmarva. And then as we bring this down here through Kentucky and Tennessee, a majority of those states as well, seeing their first snowfall during that later December region time frame. And then we can see a lot of Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas. It's the same exact story here. Now, for these remaining darker blue regions, this means that it will happen in earlier December or even earlier than that, perhaps November or earlier. Let's keep on going here, and as we add this dark blue layer here, this is your will get snow before December area here, which means that that'll happen sometime between August and November there for those darker blue areas. Now, the kind of ocean blue, deep blue, royal blue there that we have remaining between the light blue and the darkest blue, that area is going to be having their first snowfall on average between December 1st and December 15th. So we see New York City in there, likely Boston as well. We see Columbus, we see Cincinnati as well, we see Indianapolis, we see Kansas City in there as well for these areas. Let's see. Seattle perhaps also seeing their first snowfall during the first half of December as well. And then we see a lot of the Appalachian Mountains as well, seeing some of their first snowfall around that same exact time of year. Now, I hope this has made it very clear when in December, if at all, you're expecting to see your first snowfall for a lot of these areas in here. Let's keep going with this as a bonus. Like I said, this is your will get snow before mid-November area. So likely these magenta areas by now have already seen their first snowfall. I'm making this video on November 21st. So most of these areas have, again, likely seen their first snowfall already. The darker blue areas are probably next in line to likely see their first snowfall over the next week or two. Those darker blue regions, that is what is expected to happen according to what's average, but we know that abnormal things do occur, so can't be guaranteed, obviously. Now, we get our pink region here. This is your will get snow before November area. So these areas have surely seen their first snowfall. Is a really safe bet. The magenta areas likely have seen their first snowfall. If not, it should happen very, very shortly because we're overdue for it basically in the magenta areas. Now, our last layer here is your red region, which is your will get snow before October area. And that's just for some very high elevation areas in the Rocky Mountains. It is almost a sure thing that they have seen their first snowfall by now. So it's not even really worth talking about. Now, as a bonus, we're going to take a look at some of our winter forecast stuff here. So this is your expected to get below normal snowfall area here. This is the brown region, so there is below normal snowfall chance expected this upcoming winter for these areas. And then your blue areas here is where we expect above normal snowfall chance. And all that means is that there's a good chance you're going to see above normal snowfall in these blue regions here. So perhaps earlier than normal snowfall can be expected as well for a lot of these blue regions, perhaps a little bit later in the brown regions that haven't already seen it. Now, here is, again, as a bonus, our precipitation forecast. So we're in a La Nina, which basically means that there's a really, really, really good chance that there's going to be below normal precipitation to the south. We can see in darker brown region there for California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico as well. That is where we expect pretty far below normal precipitation to occur, as there won't be that many storms heading on shore for this region, unfortunately, is the expectation. As we work our way a little bit further north up the west coast here, we can see that there is above normal precipitation expected here for the northwest, where all of those storms are likely going to head into this area instead of going further south. That is the expectation at this point. We can see that as these storms don't move onshore to the southwest, that also means the south central and the southeast will see less storminess, because that train of storms coming from the southwest won't be moving across the nation. Most of your storms in the south states are going to have to come from the north, which is only going to happen so often. The north is likely to have pretty far above normal precipitation across the northwest, the north central, and the northeast. And even in the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, and Northeast, you can tell we do have pretty far above normal precipitation expected for a lot of these areas in the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, the interior Northeast as well. Plenty of areas seeing above normal precipitation potentially in these areas. Now, for the temperature outlook here, we expect pretty cold conditions in the east here. As you can see, a lot of what we've seen this fall is pretty similar to what we expect to see this winter. Just major Arctic blasts relentlessly heading into the eastern United States, which I would say is the theme of the fall so far, is pretty much expected to happen over the course of the winter, just as we predicted accurately over the fall to happen. It surely did. We can see for the west there, especially the southwest, we do expect a positive PNA, basically above normal temperatures there for the western areas of North America. And this forces the cold air to move around this warm air mass set up over the west coast. And that's why we see it heading into the central and eastern United States here on this map. This is really going to be an interesting winter, and the lighter blue areas is where we're pretty confident in it. The medium blue is where we're getting even more confident in the below normal temperatures, and then the darkest blue there is where we expect really, really good chance of having below normal temperatures. So that's the difference for a lot of these areas. Now, the overall forecast here, I'll briefly go over it, but you can check out our most recent winter forecast. It's going to be the fourth one. It's our most recent one. You can check that out on our channel. It's a really, really cool video. In the northwest, we expect cool and stormy conditions, warm and dry for the southwest, and then even further into the southwest, we see even warmer conditions in that orange area. Now, the Rockies, we expect typical snow. As always, warmer, cold, drier, more wet. We see snowfall here regardless, so they are going to see their snow no matter what happens, basically. Cold and snowy for this area just east of the Rockies. Certainly an area that usually sees some pretty major snowstorms throughout the year. Polar vortex going to possibly make an appearance up there to the north central United States. Worst of winter over the lakes. It's already been the worst of fall, so certainly a sign of things to come. Arctic blasts there in that purple region as these Arctic invasions just make their way down. Winter battle zone in the pink, which is going to indicate all sorts of frozen and messy precipitation. So rain, sleet, freezing rain, snow, all of it is going to be possible. We expect pretty dry conditions there over the Gulf states, and then tons of snow for the Appalachian mountain range, and then huge snowstorms potentially for the East Coast. I expect there to be multiple opportunities for very large East Coast snowstorms this upcoming winter. We're going to have to watch for that very closely, because that obviously would have major implications over the course of the winter. And that's basically it. We are going to be making one more winter forecast at the very, very end of November, just before winter time. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be our final and official winter forecast there. Be sure to like this video if you did enjoy it. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, and also daily weather uploads, because we do upload every single day. You can even hit that bell icon to get daily notifications when we do upload, so you never miss one. And also, you can leave a comment down below with your thoughts. I'd really appreciate that, guys. And I will see you guys in the next video.